Welcome back to Movie On. Today I'm going to explain the movie Cruel Intentions from 1999. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care, and I hope you enjoy it. The movie opens with the main character of the movie, named Sebastian Valmont, driving in his favorite classic car, 1956 Jaguar Roadster. We're introduced to Sebastian in a therapy session with his therapist, Dr. Greenbaum. She tells Sebastian to try and focus on their session today, and Sebastian opens up about himself and tells her sadly that he thinks that he's just a poor little rich kid with parenting issues. The good doctor encourages him and tells him that it's not his fault, that teenagehood can be tough for people, especially without good parenting, while he slowly smacks his head on the glass door. Dr. Greenbaum hands Sebastian a signed book of her own on parenting and how to raise a perfect child. He then confesses to Dr. Greenbaum that he cannot believe that there was a time where he only thought about sex, and how immature that was of him. He goes on to tell her that the old him would think that you're very attractive and have killer legs, which he would love to photograph. But he thinks she's cured now and would love to see Dr. Greenbaum for the next session next week, same timings. But she tells him that she won't be available for the next month because she'll be on her book tour, but he can call her anytime he needs her. To which he replies that he could use a hug. She gets up and hugs him, and her phone rings, and it's the doctor's assistant telling her that her daughter is on the line. The doctor tells her to put her on hold while she sends Sebastian off, and this is where things take a real mean turn to downtown. Sebastian picks up a portrait of Dr. Greenbaum's daughter next to the phone. She brags about her perfect daughter and how she's going to a high-class school. Sebastian tells her that he would like to be with someone like her daughter, but the doctor turns him down by telling him that her perfect child is out of his league and sends him off. She picks up her daughter's call, and this girl sounds like a sobbing mess. Her daughter tells her that she got dumped and tricked by a boy who told her that he loved her. She tells her that the boy uploaded nude pictures of her online. Dr. Greenbaum gets shocked and yells at her daughter, how could she be so irresponsible? Her daughter tells her that the boy was very charming and said, you have killer legs and would love to photograph them. It instantly hits her that Sebastian was behind this embarrassing act, and he was. This is where we get to meet the actual Sebastian Valmont, who is not some insecure rich kid, but a devious playboy who just proved Dr. Greenbaum and her book wrong by making a fool out of her daughter and uploading her nudes online, and labeling her book from How to Raise a Perfect Child to How to Raise a Perfect Slut. Sebastian reaches his home, and we're introduced to the antagonist of the movie, Catherine Merchul, Sebastian's stepsister, who is no different than him at all. We see Catherine, the delightfully vicious head bitch of an elite Manhattan prep school, who's giving her new protege, Cecily Caldwell, some important life lessons. Catherine discusses her prep school with Mrs. Caldwell and her daughter, Cecily. Catherine promises Mrs. Caldwell that she will look out for the naive Cecily. When Catherine's stepbrother, Sebastian, enters the room and greets Mrs. Caldwell sarcastically and compliments her daughter's shirt. Her daughter Cecily tells her that her father brought her this shirt when he took her on a trip to Australia while slightly spreading her legs without any intentions or knowledge, which Sebastian instantly notices and makes a dirty comment. And how are things down under? Blossoming, I hope. Catherine pretends to get offended and scolds Sebastian. Mrs. Caldwell reacts to him coldly and leaves with Cecily. Catherine tells Sebastian that she intends to use Cecily to take revenge on her ex-lover, Court Reynolds, who dumped her for Cecily. Catherine asks Sebastian to seduce Cecily, thereby spoiling her in Court's eyes. Sebastian refuses because he's planning to seduce Annette Hargrove, the headmaster's virgin daughter, who has published an essay in support of chastity until marriage. There's something sort of refreshing about Catherine's complete lack of redeeming qualities, and unlike Sebastian, she has actual reason to play the two-faced bitch. As she says in the best monologue of the movie when Sebastian casts doubt on their latest schemes, eat me, Sebastian. It's all right for guys like you in court to fuck everyone, but when I do it, I get dumped for innocent little twits like Cecily. God forbid I exude confidence and enjoy sex. Do you think I relish the fact that I have to act like Mary Sunshine 24/7 so I can be considered a lady? I'm not Marcia fucking Brady of the Upper East Side, and sometimes I want to kill myself. She's not nice, but she's also not wrong. After some negotiation, they agree on a wager. If Sebastian fails to seduce and have sex with Annette, Catherine gets Sebastian's vintage 1956 Jaguar Roadster. If he succeeds, Catherine will have sex with him, since Catherine is the only girl Sebastian has failed to bed. I know, right? They both have a very twisted, toxic, and sexually romantic bond with each other, even though both of them are step-siblings. Sebastian's first attempt to seduce Annette fails, as she already knows about his bad reputation. Meanwhile, Ronald Clifford, Cecily's music teacher for the summer, is also smitten with Cecily, and Catherine makes arrangements for Ronald and Cecily to spend time together, hoping that he will take Cecily's virginity. Lounging on a blanket in Central Park, they're two visual opposites. Sweet, ditzy Cecily wears a preppy uniform of green and pink, complete with a plaid knee-length skirt and a sweater wrapped around her shoulders. Catherine's in all-black vintage, skirt suit, round sunglasses, giant floppy hat, as if to spite the bright, beautiful New York summer unfolding around them. Cecily admits she's untrained in the ways of kissing, and Catherine admonishes her for never having practiced on her girlfriends. When Catherine turns Cecily to face her and give her a quick peck, Cecily is surprised to find how easy and pleasant it is. "This time I'm going to stick my tongue in your mouth, and when I do that, I want you to massage my tongue with yours," Catherine says, matter of fact, and that's what first base is. Meanwhile, shocked and angry by Annette's rejection of him, Sebastian confides in a Manchester prep student, Blaine, about Annette's knowledge about his past. Blaine suggests that Annette's ex-boyfriend and Blaine's current lover, Greg McConnell, may have accused him. After a confrontation later that same night, meanwhile, Sebastian blackmails Greg by taking a picture of him in bed with another man. Sebastian then realizes Greg is not the one who told her and moves on. Sebastian later discovers that Mrs. Caldwell, Cecily's mother, warned Annette about him. He finally agrees to corrupt Cecily out of revenge. Catherine engineers Ronald's breakup with Cecily by informing Mrs. Caldwell of their flirtations. Mrs. Caldwell quickly ends their affair and fires Ronald as Cecily's music teacher. Sebastian, in turn, calls Cecily to his house, ostensibly to give her a letter from Ronald. Once at his house, Sebastian blackmails Cecily and convinces her to have oral sex. The next day, Cecily confides in Catherine, who advises her to learn the art of sex from Sebastian so that she can make Ronald happy in bed. What muddies Cruel Intentions' moral waters is that most of the people who get screwed over kind of deserve it. Everyone is so hideously flawed that whoever we're supposed to be rooting for at any given time is never in our favor for long. For example, Catherine weaponizes Bunny's racism to push Ronald, who has been writing love letters to Cecily, out of a job. Bunny says, "I got you off the streets, and this is how you repay me?" Ronald replies, "Got me off the streets, I live at 59th and Park." The firing itself seems somewhat justified. Ronald's seduction of the childish and naive Cecily, while in a position of authority as a teacher, feels bad and gross. "She's so young," Catherine says with fake concern, "and he's so..." You're expecting her to finish with "much older," but Bunny jumps in with "black." Later, Ronald will cheat on Cecily with Catherine, giving him an even lower moral high ground. Meanwhile, Sebastian continues his quest of Annette by continuing to put on a compassionate facade to discredit his bad boy reputation. He tells Annette that he thinks of other people, and demonstrates by volunteering at a hospice care facility where she also volunteers. He also gives money donations to charity groups, knowing Annette is observing him, which is also part of his ploy to get back on her good graces. Sebastian returns with Annette in his car from the facility. He tells Annette that he had a good time at the facility with Mrs. Sugarman, and he thinks she was cool. Annette does not believe him, and laughingly tells him that she's not an idiot. He says, "I'm not kidding. I played backgammon with Mrs. Sugarman, and she beat me 3 times, but then admits that he hates charity and only did it because he was bored. She says, "It's okay. That does not make him a bad person," to which he replies, "Yes, it does." He feels like being nice is like a competition which he can't win when competing with her. She tells Sebastian that the problem with him is that he takes himself too seriously, and to try to lighten up. He gets annoyed and tells her to change the subject, and she says fine. To change the subject and also to lighten up Sebastian, Annette starts making funny and silly faces to cheer him up. He looks at her and giggles, and constantly tells her to stop making such ridiculous faces. It's very distracting. She tells him to relax and grabs his hand, and both of them ride off. Over the next few days, Sebastian begins to fall in love with Annette, who returns his feelings, but still keeps her defenses up. Sebastian declares that Annette is a hypocrite, waiting for love, but refusing to sleep with the guy that loves her. Confused and beaten by Sebastian's logic, Annette relents, but Sebastian, now feeling guilty for leading her on, refuses her. Heartbroken and embarrassed, Annette flees her aunt's estate. Sebastian tracks her down at her parents' hotel suite in New York and professes his love, and they consummate their feelings. Catherine offers herself to Sebastian after he wins the bet, but he rejects her because he now only wants Annette, which leaves Catherine enraged and jealous. Sebastian informs her that he was planning to tell Annette the truth. Catherine warns him that doing so will destroy both his and Annette's reputations. Sebastian lies to Annette, claiming he just wanted to see what she was like in bed, and that he has no real feelings for her. Devastated, Annette tells him to leave. Sebastian informs Catherine that he has broken up with Annette and now wants his reward for winning the bet. Catherine reveals that he, and not Annette, was the true victim of her scheme. For her own amusement, she manipulated him into abandoning Annette once she realized that he truly loved her. She then dismisses him, telling him that she doesn't sleep with losers. Sebastian desperately tries to contact Annette to confess the truth and beg for a second chance, but she refuses to see him. After trying unsuccessfully to talk to Annette, he sends her his journal, in which he has detailed all his previous conquests and written his true feelings for Annette. He wants to offer the diary to Annette, hoping she will learn the truth for herself and forgive him. Catherine, meanwhile, informs Ronald of Sebastian's affair with Cecily. Catherine also claims that Sebastian had hit her. In a deleted scene, Sebastian indeed slapped Catherine. A furious Ronald confronts Sebastian in the middle of the street outside Annette's apartment building, and a fistfight ensues. Annette, in search of Sebastian, comes upon the fight and tries to stop it. She's thrown into the way of an oncoming taxicab. Sebastian pushes her to safety and is hit by the speeding cab himself. Annette rushes to his side. Before he dies, he professes his love for her, and she reciprocates. A few weeks later, the new school year at Manchester Prep is inaugurated with Sebastian's funeral. During the service, Catherine gives a self-sufficient speech to the school about how she had unsuccessfully tried to get Sebastian to mend his ways and become a model student like herself. Halfway through her speech, students start walking out. Flustered, Catherine rushes outside the chapel where Cecily is distributing copies of Sebastian's journal, entitled Cruel Intentions, to all the students. The journal shows all of Sebastian's inner thoughts, his conquests, his description of the bet, and a page on Catherine, which finally exposes her manipulative and deceitful ways, including the fact that she hides a vial of cocaine in a crucifix she wears in the rosary beads around her wrist. The headmaster takes Catherine's crucifix and opens it, spilling the cocaine. Catherine's spotless reputation is destroyed, and people finally see her for the troubled, callous mastermind that she is. In the final shot, Annette drives away in Sebastian's Jaguar, putting his sunglasses on, with his journal by her side, and fond memories of being with Sebastian playing through her head. But in terms of irredeemable characters, nobody can hold a candle to Sebastian himself. The movie begins with Sebastian screwing over his hypocritical and uncaring therapist by exposing her great parenting shtick as a scam. He seduces her daughter, Marcy, and then disseminates Marcy's half-naked photos, photoshopped onto her mother's book cover, all over the internet. The troubling implication is that a good parent wouldn't have raised a slut. Marcy, whom we don't see enough to get to know, is one of just a couple characters in the movie who don't seem to deserve such a horrible fate. The other is Sebastian and Catherine's favorite pawn, Cecily, whose only crime is simplicity. Her sexual awakening is spun as a positive. "You're a woman now," Catherine tells her, after Sebastian goes down on her and gives her her first orgasm. But Sebastian and Cecily's sex scene is pure coercion. Cecily never consents to what happens to her. To watch more explanations of these types of movies, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. Kindly like the video and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. And at last I will say, stay safe, stay well, thanks.